Yep. Lights, camera, action. This is Family Kitchen and Crafts. My name is Mark with my wife Sherry, my grandson John, and my granddaughter Abby. We are Family Kitchens and Crafts. Now, as you know, the new year is right around the corner. Today's December 1st. I'm doing this video. And the diet commercials, they're going to start pounding your eyes. They're going to burn your eyes out with their wild claims and, you know, all this stuff. You know them like the keto diet, Weight Watchers, Go Low, Ozempic, semaglutide. That's that shot there that you take to lose weight. They got Noom and Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem. Now the reason why I'm bringing up diet and exercise like that is because February 25th of this year, I was 66 years old and I had a heart attack. My two main arteries were clogged up. Doctor said I almost died, but they put two stents in my heart and they said I've got very minimal damage to my heart. But I got to start taking care of myself. Now, this was a wake up call. But see, there's something that these diet companies don't tell you. They don't never talk about the Mediterranean diet. I did a little bit of study and research on this. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a diet. It's inspired by traditional eating patterns in countries like Greece, Italy, and Spain, where they have the most healthiest people and they live the longest. So that should tell you something right there. It emphasizes fresh, wholesome ingredients. It's renowned for its flexibility and ease of long-term maintenance. It focuses on consuming plenty of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and moderate amount of fish, poultry, dairy, and limited red meat and sweets. The diet's foundation is pretty much plant-based because they're rich in nutrients, fiber, and antioxidants. Healthy fats, olive oil. See, we cook with olive oil now. We cook with a lot of olive oil because it's good and healthy. It's beneficial for heart health too, which I really need. After I got done with, the doctor and everything, they sent me for therapy, and they had a nutritionist there, and she, kind of guided me along with some stuff. So I'm gonna kind of pass that on to you, especially, I've seen people as young as in their early 30s have a heart attack. In fact, a friend of ours passed away. He was like 31 years old, had a heart attack. So it can happen to anybody. You got to be more mindful. You got moderate. You got to have moderate protein intake. Sources like fish, because of the omega-3s, poultry, legumes, which are beans, dairy, limiting red meat and sweets. But you can still have steak. You can eat candy. You just gotta be mindful and just portions. This diet stresses whole unprocessed foods and the generous use of herbs and spices. Herbs and spices to flavor the meats, to flavor the fish, the vegetables. You'd be surprised what some herbs and spices can do. Mindful eating practices are also encouraged. There's with this diet, there's a reduced risk of chronic diseases like heart diseases. I had a heart attack, so you got to be mindful of that. Diabetes, high and low blood sugars, and certain cancers too. It supports the cardiovascular system. It lowers LDL cholesterol and the blood pressure. It's weight loss and maintenance for promoting satiety with nutrient dense food. That means it makes you feel full. Satiety. Anti-inflammatory benefits. If you have arthritis or you got sore joints, I know when you get older, I know my hands from working as a mechanic when I was younger like that, they hurt a little bit. This diet, I'll tell you, it makes a big difference because it's got a high content of antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids. It's potential protection against cognitive decline, like Alzheimer's, and a lower risk of depression and anxiety. So, there's a lot of depression. There's a lot of anxiety with people. Alzheimer's disease. It's pretty common and is growing. We need to stop this. We need to start eating mindful because the food companies out there now, everything's laced with sugar and like that. Because sugar, did you know that sugar is very addictive? Yes, it is very addictive. You get a breakfast like eggs, Greek yogurt, honey, avocado toast, tomato sauces, appetizers in small plates, whole wheat bread, yes, whole wheat. Classic hummus, tzatziki, capri screwers. I don't know what that is, but there's a lot of different foods you can eat. Soups and stews, salads and vegetables, seafood, like shrimp, lobster, well, scallops. And some people are allergic to seafood, I know, but there's other stuff. Fish, poultry and meats, chicken. You can have pork, pastas and grains, sauces and dips, even desserts and sweets. There's like low carb and low calorie desserts and sweets you can have, snacks, light meals, drinks and beverages. Water is one of the best things you can drink. Like when you get up in the morning, I drink a whole bottle of water every morning when I get up because it lubricates all your system. Water also helps with your heart. I'll send you, in fact, I've got a newsletter here. You can sign up for it, and it'll tell you more about water and the effects on the heart. It's really, it's a real good thing. Now here's something right here. I'm going to give you this recipe right here. It's called Mediterranean ground beef stir. Make sure you use leaner ground beef. They've got the 73%, they got 80 and 90. Try to use the 90 and try to buy your meats from a local butcher. Like what we do is we'll buy like a half a beef or a quarter of a beef and we'll put it in the freezer. That's the best kind to buy right there. And actually it's cheaper than buying it at the store. Like we'll go in with our grandson, we'll get a half a cow or a quarter of a cow or a whole one because we've got, 3 or 4 freezers here. So we've got plenty of room for meats. You should buy yourself a freezer and go in half with somebody or even a third, with people and, divide it all up. I'll tell you, it's a whole lot healthier than buying at the grocery store because, you never know what's going to sneak into your food there at the grocery store. And there's a lot of problems now with, diseases, salmonella and like that. So, vegetables and fruits, buy them at your local farmer's market. They don't have all that crap on them like they do at the store. Now, here's a recipe I'm going to give you right here. This will be on the video so you can see this. I'll go through it slow. It's called Mediterranean ground beef stir fry. A pound of ground beef, a tablespoon of olive oil, a small onion diced, 3 cloves of garlic minced. You can also, we buy the garlic in the jar. You can buy it in a jar. It's already minced and everything. You just use that, and then you can get a bell pepper, zucchini, cherry tomatoes, olives, oregano, cumin, paprika, and salt and pepper, and feta cheese, and fresh parsley for garnish if you want. And here's the directions. Just heat the olive oil in a large pan over medium heat. Saute onions and garlic until fragrant. Add the ground beef and cook until browned. Breaking it apart as it cooks. Stir in the bell peppers, zucchini, and cherry tomatoes and cook until softened. Season with oregano, cumin, paprika, salt, and pepper and mix it well. Toss in olives and cook for another 2 minutes. Remove from the heat and sprinkle it with feta cheese and garnish with parsley. Serve as it is, or you can serve it over rice or pita bread. It makes 4 servings. So you can even double or triple that, and you can have it for 2 or 3 days during the week. 350 to 400 calories. I mean, you really can't beat something like that. So follow us for more. I'm going to put more recipes on. We're going to make some cooking videos too. Now is the time to start this in December, not when the first of the year when you make that promise. Start it now and work into it slowly. That's the way to do it. And I'm going to leave my phone number here too on the video. If you have any questions or if you need some counseling or anything like that, let me know. You know, we're certified in food service. This is Mark from the Family Kitchens and Crafts saying thanks for watching the video. And don't forget to get your heart checked, please. We'll see you again in our next video.